Hello guys, I normally do not do videos where I film myself for what I think are probably obvious reasons right now. The lighting and the shadows, and it's just not my thing. I don't have one of those like gorgeous teacher bookcases or a super cute classroom. I have a door behind me. But I wanted to make this video for my 2019 students because I think in some weird way this setting is kind of symbolic, because several of you throughout this whole year have struggled a little bit, and I have told you time and time again that the struggle is part of the process. I've told you that it's not about the numbers that you get, it's about what you learn along the way. And so this video is not going to be perfect, because perfectionism is something that is rare, if at all possible. And so I just decided to kind of let go and just film and just speak from the heart, because in less than 48 hours, that's what I'm gonna ask you guys to do. I'm gonna ask you to just trust the process and to be brave and to not care if things are not exactly perfect the way you think they need to be. I'm gonna ask that you just do your best. And so I wanted to just kind of like talk to you guys a little bit and, just kind of remind you of a few things. And I'm not talking about reminders about multiple choice or synthesis or rhetorical analysis, because we've been through all of that. I want to remind you about what this class really is about and what this test really is about. And the answer is not college credit. The answer is not a 3, a 4, or a 5. The answer is not the 5-point GPA scale boost that you could potentially get. The answer is that AP Lang is a challenging class for some. It's a class that teaches you how to think. It's a class that teaches you how to write. It's a class that forces you to look at perspectives that are different than your own. And it's a class, more so arguably than any other, that prepares you for the real world, because the real world is about words, it's about tone, it's about purpose. And everything from an email interaction with your professor to a dissertation needs a purpose and a tone. There's strategy behind it. And so it's going to be important that you know how to communicate. It's going to be important that you can be empathetic, that you can be kind, that you can look at someone else's perspective even if you don't agree with it and say, you know what, there is some value in this. I'm going to listen. And so I've seen you guys grow a lot over the course of the year, and I'm so incredibly proud of you. You guys are my why. So you probably don't know this, but at the beginning of the school year, they asked the teachers, what's your why? And for me, teaching, my why has always been my students, because let's be honest, like public school teaching, it's not about the money, it's not about the fame, it's about the kids. And so you guys make my mornings amazing. And I realized this like the whole year, but a couple weeks ago when we had to flip our schedule and the morning classes had to meet in the afternoon, it was like the most bizarre thing. And I realized how much I look forward to you guys in the morning, because I'm greeted by some of you. You just walk in and you're like, hey Coach Hall, how are you? And we start our day. I mean, like, we have our first period, just rhythm, and I love the conversations you guys have, and I love how you guys aren't afraid to share. And then in fourth period, you guys, like, I'm so proud of you guys, because you guys have come a long way. The journey has been very different. The two classes, while both strong in their own ways, have been very different. And for fourth period, I love how you guys are not afraid to fail, because as an individual, especially as a high school student, I think that was one of my biggest fears, is I was afraid that if I wasn't perfect, that I wasn't good enough. And it really was so rewarding to me to see you guys try. I would say, does anyone see a strategy in this piece? And you guys would just, say like, I'm not sure, but I'm willing to guess. And like, you guys were right, first of all. So we went through that whole explanation of like, it's okay to guess, but trust yourself. And also just the willingness to say, hey, you know what? I don't know if this thesis is quite good enough, but I want to share it with the class. And so I loved the participation. You guys made me laugh. You guys made me think. You made me realize that things are going to be challenging at times. Things aren't always going to go according to plan. And you guys made me realize that I love what I do. I love AP Lang. I love teaching. I love trying to bring out the best in my students. And so you guys have transformed and you've helped transform me. So we saw a lot of progress this year, guys. Like, I was having to like recap some of my numbers over the course of the year, and like, I'm not gonna say names because I would never say names, but some of you went from getting like 15 or 18 multiple choice right out of 55 to 28, 29, 35. Like, that's huge. And if you do it on the exam, I will be so proud of you. And if you don't do it on the exam, I will still be so proud of you, because I want you to know something. And you might not believe this right this second, but as someone who is 10 years, almost 11 years out of high school, I can tell you that while your test scores are important, they're not what defines you. And so if this test is really challenging, and it's gonna be challenging, guys, it's an AP class, and we all know the College Board. But if this test is challenging, like, embrace the challenge and say, you know what, it's not gonna get the better of me today, and just keep going. Trust the process. You guys have been so well trained. You guys have worked so hard. And so I know that on your best day, you guys are gonna do amazing. And I know that if it's a tough test, you guys are ready to just kill it anyway. You're gonna do amazing. You've come so far. And I wish that your scores were more than just like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. I wish they told you how many points you got, because I think that would really reaffirm this growth that I'm seeing. But some of you were starting the year with essays that were like, I think I gave you a 4, but they were probably really 3s, and now you're getting 5s and 6s. And so we've seen this transformation, we've seen this growth, and some of you started off the year really, really strong, and you have become stronger. But I'm just so proud of you. And so the other day in 4th period, we just read aloud some thesis statements. And there was one student who read, I'll say his or hers because I don't want to give it away. And that student was like, you know what, I don't know if this is even good enough, but I'm going to try. And that student read his or her thesis statement. And the whole class was just like in shock. And I got to see your faces. And there was like some of the, and there's some of the, and it was just like, I almost cried. Like, I don't know if any of you caught that, but I seriously almost cried, because it was just this moment of like, yes, you did it in like 2 minutes, because we've been working on these 2-minute thesis statements. You did everything I could have asked. And I was just so amazed. And then we went around the room, and every attempt, every thesis statement was just awesome. And I know that's something so silly in some sense to be excited about, like, woohoo, they wrote thesis statements, like it's May. But he was like, it was just the fact that you guys did it on command and with a challenging prompt, and it was just like, it was what we've been working for. And so I was really, really proud of all of you that day. And then like, I guess it was the next day. It was probably the next day. I had to help a student with something. And I said, hey guys, the bell's about to ring. I'm gonna step out into the hallway. The notes are on the board. And all I wanted y'all to do was just look at them for a second. And then when I came back in the room, one of you was up in front of the class teaching and like literally going through my notes. And like, it wasn't that you guys didn't need me, but it was this realization that you guys can do this on your own. And as a teacher, that's what we want, because I can't be with you during that test. I can be up here. I could be telling y'all like, vary your syntax and develop, and give me a concluding sentence that ties back to the prompt, tie back to your thesis. Some of you, like according to last year's students, y'all, when they were taking the exam, they were like, we heard you in our heads. And they were like, and it wasn't weird. So I hope that you guys know that I'm not physically there with you during that test, but I'm with you, and I will be with you through that test and through next year when you're seniors and through college, because I will always be your teacher. Even when I'm like 92, I'm gonna be your teacher. And so I want what's best for you. And I was just so proud that you guys kind of had like this weird moment of like spreading your wings and flying, and it was just so great to see. And you had another really strong class. And so I'm really proud of everything that you've done, and I want you to know that no matter what score you get, you are a winner. And I know that a lot of times it's just like, it's really easy to say, hey, I missed the mark, I'm not good enough. And I think that there's value in having standards because you need goals, you need something to shoot for. But I think there's also value in the process. And I have seen so much progress with you, more so than I could have even imagined. You guys have made me a better teacher because you made me stop and think, okay, what's the best way to present this? And I've done it this way, so how can I change that? And my future students will benefit because of how willing you guys were to learn and how receptive you were. I mean, there were days when we would just like do notes on the board. What's the strategy? What's the evidence? What's the purpose? What's your commentary? And there were days when we did like the says and does analysis. Like we tried almost everything I could possibly think of. And you guys were so respectful, so participatory, and you know, I loved it when you all would come in fourth period and you're like, hey, are we gonna take notes today? Like, you know, and like, cause kids don't normally say that, y'all. But you guys, you loved the class, or at least you embraced the class, and I loved teaching you. And so just do your very best. And, okay, sorry. Bless you. Okay. Anyway, do your very best. Yeah, see, not perfect videos. Do your very best, and just know that this doesn't define you. This does not define your future. This does not define your GPA. This does not define your college readiness. This doesn't define anything more than what you were able to do that day. And so my sincerest hope is that the whole year will have prepared you for this. And my sincerest hope is that you will be proud of yourselves no matter what you do on this test. I want you to give it your all. I want you to fight for every word. I want you to write till the last second. I want your hands to be sore. I want there to be sweat on that page. I want you to just be like proud but also exhausted at the end. Like, I want you to give it your all because you're worth it. And this class is worth it, and this test is worth it. You're worth it. So I'm probably getting really repetitive and super cheesy, and if you guys were actually analyzing this speech, you would probably pick it apart. But just know that you guys have inspired me. You have taught me to be a little bit more easygoing. You've taught me to be more strict at times. You've taught me to just love education again. And so I will not forget you, class of 2019. And so just do the very best you can and leave it all out there. Wednesday morning between the hours of like 8 and noon. We're gonna have a little party beforehand. We're doing pancakes. Well, you all are cooking the pancakes. Y'all do not want me to cook the pancakes. I will supply the pancakes. But we're gonna celebrate a very successful year, and we're gonna crush that test. So anyway, thank you. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you're not one of my students, but you happen to be watching this video anyway, then good luck to you as well. And just try your best. So, all right guys, until next time, happy writing.